In Kansas, where that critical abortion access vote is happening right now, voters across the state received this misleading text message yesterday. Quote, women in Kansas are losing their choice on reproductive rights. Vote yes on the amendment. Will give women a choice. Vote yes to protect women's health. That is not true. The measure on the ballot does not protect choice. In fact, it would change the state constitution and do the exact opposite. One of the people who received that text is Kathleen Sebelius, the former Democratic governor of Kansas and also the former Secretary of Health and Human Services under the Obama administration. She joins me now. So, Secretary Sebelius, you got this text message. What was your reaction to this?
Well, I read it and then I reread it, and I was just frankly disgusted by the blatant lies contained in the text message. Unfortunately, the campaign on the yes side of the ballot measure has been dishonest from the beginning. The ballot measure is very confusing to read, intentionally written to confuse people, voters. The date was chosen a year and a half ago by legislators who were very hopeful that this would be the lowest possible turnout election and would just slip under the radar screen. And the ads running on the yes side have alleged that laws have changed in Kansas, that the radical court has gotten rid of safety standards. The court decision that people are trying to overrule is actually 3.5 years old. It was based on a March 19th decision in 2019, and nothing in Kansas law has changed since then. So this has been a very deceptive campaign. It's been a tough job in the weeks to educate people about how important this vote is, why they should vote in a primary, and convince them that, no is the way to protect women's reproductive rights and to keep the Constitution the way it was when the abolitionist settlers of Kansas wrote the Constitution.
Do we have any idea how widely distributed this text message was? And are you worried at all that coming so late in the process and being so confused, just an outright lie, basically, not confusing, it's a lie. Do you worry that it throws in enough confusion that it causes a problem for how the outcome may be for this? Well,
I worry about everything in this campaign, but a lot of the education effort has been aimed at making sure people understand that in spite of the confusing language, no is the way to preserve women's reproductive choices. No is the way to make sure we don't have another government mandate where politicians in the legislature are making decisions about women's health in Kansas. So that education has gone on. I hope that this last minute attempt to once again confuse people will not be successful, just because the no effort has been very vocal over and over and over again. But it's really discouraging, and it's really kind of distressing that former Congressman Tim Huelskamp has now been linked to the website, the Republican-based website that put out these calls. We know that in large part they've been paid for by the Catholic Church. So that part of this campaign is just overwhelmingly disappointing when Kansas voters are not being asked to make a choice based on real information and opportunity to have a great turnout. What we're seeing, though, is record numbers of people coming to vote in this midterm primary election. We've never seen numbers like this. People were still in line in Wichita when I got on this call. So I'm hopeful that the big turnout means that people have paid attention and they really want to preserve rights here in Kansas.
Big turnout is a good thing in this primary vote today. One last thing, we have less than a minute here, but today the Kansas Governmental Ethics Commission tweeted that, quote, under current law, text message advocacy about constitutional ballot initiatives does not require paid for disclaimers. But, is it bigger than that? Is there no way to have any accountability about who did this, to rein it in, to stop it?
Well, the good news is, in spite of the ethics laws that don't require it, there were some really tenacious news reporters, and it's now been reported in Kansas widely by this afternoon who exactly is responsible for this. A tech-based company run by Republicans, as I say, former Congressman Tim Huelskamp, who lost his primary a couple of years ago, is behind it. So that information is available to Kansans, and it's very clear that this was designed specifically to confuse Kansas voters.
Kathleen Sebelius, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.